Dear Ukrainians, dear citizens of our proud nation, today we celebrate Ukraine's Independence Day. I stand here in the heart of Kyiv on Independence Square, and there is no place that better embodies the meaning of independence. Why it matters so deeply to us, and why Maidan is far more than just the central square of our country. It is a symbol of freedom, a guardian of our sovereignty. It is a place where history is forged, where the energy and strength of our people are born, especially in times when independence is at threat. Now, as we fight a full-scale war for our independence, Maidan once again becomes a place of powerful symbols. Symbols of how we fight, why we fight, and how we will overcome. These symbols surround us. The Monument of Independence, with its steel-reinforced core, is built to withstand a hurricane. Just like our Ukraine, it has endured the storm brought by Russia's aggression. Nearby stands the 0-kilometer marker, the starting point from which distances to Ukrainian cities are measured. To Donetsk, to Lugansk, to Crimea. Today, these markers carry a deeper meaning. They are not just about kilometers. They remind us that all of this is Ukraine. Our people are there. No distance between us can change that. No temporary occupation can erase that truth. One day, that distance will disappear. We will be together again, as one family, as one nation. It is only a matter of time. And Ukraine believes in that future, a future of peace across all our land. Because Ukraine has character, stone-like resilience, a gaze that never wavers, hands hardened by fire and time, yet strong, hands that hold the shield and defend what is ours, our land, our culture, our 1,000-year history, as embodied by the founders of Kyiv. And we defend our future, the future for which our heroes gave their lives. Names we will never forget, names we will never betray, names that protected our independence. Here on Maidan, Ukrainians have often bid farewell to heroes carried on shields, and everyone who has stood in that farewell, everyone who has lost someone in this war, carries a personal vow, a vow never to forget, never to forgive. That vow lives in the field of national remembrance, a field of great strength, because in every small flag there is a great story, a choice, a sacrifice, a choice for Ukraine, for the future, for freedom and peace and freedom. This philosophy lives in our culture, in the image of Kazakh Mamai, who earned his freedom, and so can lay down his weapon and pick up the kobza, keeping his saber close, just in case, but returning to peaceful life. That is what we all long for. And we know no one will give it to us. We must win it. That is what we have been doing for 1,274 days of this war. A war for independence. For each of those days, I thank you. Ukrainian soldiers, volunteers, doctors, rescuers, teachers, our youth, our parents, every Ukrainian man and woman, Thank you for what we have endured, and for the Ukraine we are building together, for the Ukraine that already exists today, a nation that came of age on February 24th, a nation that took its fate into its own hands, that took up arms, that had no time to hesitate, no right to fear, and that stopped the second largest army in the world. We will speak of this. We must, because it shatters the myth of Russia's invincibility. We proved it, and we continue to prove it, each of us in our own way. Everyone who carries independence within, who defends our right to be Ukrainian through their work, their actions, their achievements. Today, independence is forged on the battlefield. It shields our skies each night. It saves lives in hospitals. It extinguishes fires. It teaches. Independence never sleeps, working around the clock in defense industries, ensuring our warriors have everything they need. Independence drives across the country to deliver aid. It fights in the ring, on global stages, in arenas where Ukrainians perform. It lives in books, in poems written by Ukrainians. Every day, the enemy says, there is no such country, no such nation. And every day we prove the opposite. We prove that Ukrainians exist and will continue to exist on this land, on this square, where 100 years from now, our descendants will stand, and they will celebrate Ukraine's Independence Day. That future will come, because Ukraine today is different, stronger, more self-respecting. Ukraine no longer waits for gestures of goodwill. It has its own will, to act, to build, to defend. When Russia tries to take Sumy, our armed forces appear in Kursk. When the enemy strikes our energy infrastructure, trying to leave us in darkness, their oil refineries burn, and no one can forbid us from striking back, because justice strikes with us. When Russia attacks our peaceful cities, our hospitals, our schools, kills our civilians and our children, it receives the web in return. This is how justice strikes. This is how Ukraine strikes when its calls for peace go unheard. How many times have we proposed a ceasefire? How many times have we said, we want silence, we seek peace? But peace must be just and comprehensive, and for that, we rely on the strength of the entire world. This is the Ukraine of today, and this Ukraine will never again be forced into shame, disguised as compromise. We seek a just peace, and our future will be decided only by us. The world knows this, and the world respects it. It respects Ukraine. It sees Ukraine as an equal. Ukraine that can unite global leaders in a single day. Ukraine that America and the world want to partner with in drone production. Ukraine that restored unity between Europe and the United States, and now stands at the center of that alliance. Ukraine that stands firm and can stand for itself. That is why Ukraine is heard. That is why Ukraine is respected. Its place is at the table. No one tells us to wait outside the door. They say, the decision is yours. That is the Ukraine I had the honor to represent in the United States last week. Today, both the US and Europe agree. Ukraine has not yet won, but it has certainly not lost. Ukraine has earned its independence. Ukraine is not a victim, it is a fighter. Ukraine does not beg, it offers partnership. It offers the best army in Europe, advanced defense technologies, unmatched resilience. We say, we need the EU, yes, but the EU needs us just as much, and everyone acknowledges that. They see Ukraine not as a poor relative, but as a strong ally. That is the meaning of the coalition of the willing. That is what Washington was about. About securing lasting, reliable peace. Ukraine will achieve it because it will receive security guarantees so strong that no one in the world will ever again dare to attack Ukraine. This is not just our goal, it is what we must pass on to our children and grandchildren. A Ukraine that is strong, a Ukraine that is equal, a Ukraine that is European, a Ukraine that is independent. So that we finally break the cycle of history, where every generation lacked just enough strength to preserve independence, where each new generation had to fight again, had to take up arms, had to reclaim freedom. We must not pass that burden on. We are building a Ukraine strong enough to live in peace and security, so that on this square, on Independence Square, under our flag, on our land, our children and grandchildren will celebrate Independence Day in peace, in calm, with confidence in the future, with respect and gratitude to all who defended Ukraine in this war, the war for independence, to those who endured, to those who stood firm, to those who won. For such a future, it is worth living, and that is why we stand. Happy Independence Day, great people of a great country. Glory to Ukraine.